Serious, what's the scariest fact you wish you didn't know? In colonial America, it was common practice that if during childbirth the child gets stuck or dies during delivery, the midwife doctor would use special tools to dismember the baby in the vaginal canal and remove them piece by piece in order to try and save the mother. My mom has a set of the tools they used to do it. She gives lectures about midwifery in colonial America at historical reenactments and likes to show off the tools. They look like torture devices and the wooden handles are stained with blood. District attorneys often run based off their conviction record. Rapes and other cases that are hard or consuming to prosecute often don't because they can hurt re-election chances. Also, in many states it is perfectly legal to paint your rape victim as a slut and ask detailed and expansive questions about their sexual history in court in front of their loved ones. Also, most rape kits go untested. Felt like commenting this after seeing another thing about how women lie about rape. There is something called didnt phenomenon. I won't get into EKGs or anything, but basically if your heart beats at the wrong time in your normal cycle, you can go into cardiac arrest. This was seen with that NFL football player who had a sudden collapse on the field a year or two back. That sudden beat that occurs can also result from a sudden hit to the chest, such as a baseball hitting you square in the chest at the wrong time in your heart cycle. There is no check on any US president launching the entire nuclear arsenal at any target for any reason. He asks for the football, cracks the biscuits codes, dials, and gives the order. As long as it's his voice, anyone who says no after that is violating the chain of command. Sect F, state, no one else has to approve. In about 20 minutes, missiles will be airborne. There is no way to splash them or disarm them once airborne. There is a waterborne, microscopic, brain-eating amoeba that can enter your body through your nose. It is found in fresh water and can be present at water parks and pools. It is fatal within about 5 days and there's no way to really test for it before it's typically too late. Survival is very unlikely. Your body is constantly correcting DNA errors that have the potential to become cancer, and that potential greatly increases depending on lifestyle. So much so that 1/2 of all people will go on to develop some sort of cancer. How capable all humans are of true evil. After a couple tours in Afghanistan, I saw some of the nicest, funniest or sweetest people do absolutely terrible things in the name of war or self-preservation. When put in the right situation, all humans are capable of truly despicable actions whether they want to admit it or not. Humans scare the shit out of me. You can become conscious during CPR resuscitation efforts, to the point of moving and sometimes even violently reacting, but still not survive cardiac arrest. It's called CPR-induced consciousness. It's rare, but there are cases where patients have been aware enough to push caregivers away or tell them to stop CPR. The fact that I was born with congenital heart disease means that any time, at random, without warning, one of my valves or part of my heart muscles can suddenly collapse or disintegrate. I would be dead within a matter of days or weeks. Only annual checkups can help find the smallest of hints to prevent this. The fact that sometimes your lungs can just kinda collapse. I'm agoraphobic and that one's a big fear of mine in particular. It's way more likely to happen to skinny folks from my understanding though, so at least I can calm down by reminding myself I'm fat and Macron sum Macron. That we die, are most likely obliterated completely as individual sentient creatures and are most likely blasted into nothingness. Honestly, though I found that out as a kid and am now a grown-ass man, I've never really outgrown the terror of that great unknown. The local ones scare me the most. Every time I drive by a certain place, I get upset. A child was kidnapped and held in that place for years, being sexually abused the whole time. There's another place where a child was run over in a parking lot and killed. My exact numbers may be wrong as every time I look it up, I get a variety of different numbers, but roughly 40 of people don't wash their hands after using the bathroom and 85 don't wash their hands correctly after using the bathroom. My town is built around the calderas of 2 massive supervolcanoes, one of which has produced 2 of the most powerful eruptions ever and had the alert level raised for the first time just over 12 months ago due to increased activity. The US military was expecting such high casualties for the invasion of mainland Japan in World War II, that all of the Purple Heart medals awarded for injuries in combat used since have been leftovers made in anticipation for the invasion. That we're all going to die eventually and our accomplishments wither away with time. That singular fact doesn't enable me to do whatever I want, it actively disables me with the knowledge that nothing I do even matters. Plastic particles are absolutely everywhere. It's in our food. It's in our water. It's in the ground. It's in our bloodstream. And nobody knows what the long-term effects are going to be, or how to reverse it. Maybe not the scariest, but one of the most unsettling is that you can just be healthy one moment, then drop dead the next. I don't think about it a lot, but it's just kinda jarring to think about personally. What's going on in Russia right now? I saw a post from someone who was considering suicide because of how horrible the LGBT crackdown is. It just breaks my heart that this sort of thing still happens. Runaway greenhouse effect due to frozen methane defrosting in Siberia. This will cause upheaval on a global scale, and eventually lead to human race depopulating massively, and not in a controlled way. Until the beginning of the 80s, surgery on newborns were carried out without anesthesia or painkillers. It was then believed that infants could not feel pain and that the screams were only reflexes. In Philippines there's a dish called pagpag, which is anything edible that can be scavenged from the trash around the city, washed, recooked and sold in slums for prices people there can afford. In ancient Egypt, when a woman died, her family would sometimes wait a few days before having the body mummified because they wanted to wait for the body to decay enough to prevent necrophilia. When you get numbed up at the dentist, the needle goes a minimum of 1 into your gums. I was told that right as they were getting the injection ready, started having an anxiety attack. I think I'm old enough to see how popular fascistic or fascist-adjacent beliefs have become to realize we are only a small catastrophe away from unimaginable self-inflicted horrors. The earliest possible end of the universe is 20 billion years from now, and it's likely more like trillions of years, possibly forever. The universe is only 13.7 billion years old. That there are so many people out there who would prefer I just kill myself instead of daring to make them uncomfortable. And that a lot of them work in politics and news media. I don't know how true it is, but I remember reading on this very site that if your immune system suddenly realizes you have eyes, it will attack them and you go blind. If we manage to reduce our CO2 emissions and actually meet net zero by 2050, there's still only a 50% chance the world will cool, instead of continue to warm. That the uncanny valley effect means at some point there was evolutionary survival value in recognizing things that looked just like us. But we're not. Most scientists who study cockroaches develop an allergy to cockroaches eventually. Simultaneously, they develop an allergy to ground coffee. Do the math. In the intricate recesses of the human mind, the complexities of consciousness and the enigma of our own thoughts can be both fascinating and unnerving. That the US and Russia combined have thousands of nuclear missiles aimed at each other, just waiting for the president to order the launch. The fact your eyelashes have mites. It creeps me out every single day. Some days I feel like plucking all my eyelashes out because of it. There might be, in fact, there probably are people I like, love and respect who are abusive to their partners and their children. We are all dying. All of us. No matter what, we all will die. My mom will never see me as an old lady. Cries an existential crisis. The more you know as a nurse, the more you're not liking the idea of aging with all the health issues that we often get with age. If you're 25 years old, approximately 1/3 of the world's population who were alive at the time of your birth, have since died. Even if you're the safest, most skillful driver in the world, you still have no way to protect yourself from other bad drivers. That people are using text-to-speak with our credit to make YouTube videos with video gameplay in the background for profit. When a hamster oocyte is fertilized with human sperm, a hamster is created. I'm stuck with this stupid disease, multiple sclerosis, for the rest of my life, and not just a few years but forever. Forever that prions exist. You can be sent off in America for a mental treatment, before, and without, a mental examination. Dinner plate sized spiders. They say ignorance is bliss. I damn well wish I never learned that fact. Stillman syndrome is a thing. Take your child to an eye doctor before the age of 7. It can make a world of difference for them. That being a woman, you are not even safe, even if you are dead. There are men who rape dead women. The sun will eventually envelop the earth. Everything and everyone still here will be vaporized. If you will die because of murder, there's 80% chance you already know your killer. Sometimes cancer just happens. There's nothing anyone could have done to prevent it. The percentage of ignorant people in the US who vote against their own self-interest. The FBI estimates that there are 25-50 serial killers active in the US every day. Around 4% of people given the death penalty turn out to be innocent. Oops. My grandmother is 90 and still very sexually active with her 86-year-old boyfriend. There's plastic in our blood. Now babies are born with plastic in their blood. If a bear attacks, it won't kill you immediately, it'll just start eating. No one knows what happens after you die, but we're all going to find out. Disneyland's famous Pirates of the Caribbean ride use real skeletons. Pacemakers will still make noise in your chest long after you've died. Two Scottish doctors originally invented a chainsaw for childbirth. Brain aneurysms can happen to anyone, at any age, and most are fatal. Dogs like squeaky toys because they mimic the screams of their prey. We spend our entire lives waiting to learn if we will be murdered. That I'm gonna die without doing all of the shit I want to do. That the heat death of the universe is even a tiny possibility. Humans invented surgery long before they invented anesthesia. How often are parents involved in cases of child pornography? That we are either alone in the universe or we are not. Anything climate change related sends me into a spiral. Half of the population has below average intelligence. Intellect without wisdom is an evolutionary dead end. All you need to know.